guys, it's James. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about my first experience ever shadowing a doctor. So how I got this shadowing opportunity was my girlfriend at the time, her dad was his PA. He just offered it to me. This was my very first time ever. I was still in high school. And he just said, hey, if you want to come to work with me one day and kind of see what happens, shadow a doctor, see exactly what goes on in a surgery, feel free to come anytime you want. So I took him up on that offer and I actually went and saw a surgery. It was a Wednesday, it was sunny, it was beautiful. We got there and there were actually two surgeries that I saw scheduled for that day. The first one was just an outpatient surgery, minimally invasive surgery, wasn't too bad. It was this guy had a herniated disc and they just made a little incision and fixed him up. It only took about 30 to 45 minutes and we were out of there by 9:30 in the morning on to the next surgery. We actually went to the hospital for this second surgery as it was a scoliosis surgery. It was a lot longer surgery. The surgery was about 8 hours long, as well as it was inpatient surgery. Now when I got there, the very first thing that he had me do was wash my hands. If you've seen Grey's Anatomy, you know how this works, but you have to take the scrubbies and you have to wash every part of every finger, every part of every hand, every part of your arm. It's a very long process and you have to do it several different times with several different soaps. Now from there he gave me some scrubs and a head cap and a face mask and had me go get dressed. We went in the surgery room and the patient was already under anesthesia. Now, the doctor that I was shadowing told me that I could stand wherever, I just couldn't pass the blue. I couldn't go on a certain section because that's where it was sterile and I couldn't touch anything blue either. And so I kind of had to stay in this little section by where the anesthesiologist was. So I just kind of stood there and watched, but I asked him a ton of questions and I learned a lot from that surgery. Now he turned on some music, it was really light mood, really fun, and he started on the surgery. Now at first I got extremely lightheaded, definitely needed to sit down. So I sat down for a little bit and kind of watched while sitting down. It was a lot to take in for my first time, but eventually I could stand up and I watched the whole thing from where the anesthesiologist was sitting. He proceeded with the surgery. He made the incision from the top of her neck all the way down to her tailbone, and from there it was really cool. He had a monitor on top and they were putting screws in her spine, they put rods in her spine. It was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. So on our lunch break, we went down to the cafeteria and we got great food, free meals, and we kind of sat down and ate it. The doctor and everyone was kind of in a rush. They let me kind of take my time because I was just shadowing, but they were just trying to get this surgery over with. And so after we had our food, we went in there and they finished up the surgery. Once she was done with the surgery, you had the PA suture the lady up, and then I left and that was the last thing that I saw. But by far one of the coolest experiences that I've ever had, and that was one of the things that made me decide for sure to go pre-med before I graduated high school. And so if you guys haven't had that opportunity yet, definitely go. You know, if you know someone perfect, if you know a doctor, just ask them if you can shadow. If not, you can always call up someone and ask if you can shadow, but definitely is a great experience and something that you don't want to miss out. Now, if you guys have shadowed doctors or have any crazy stories or interesting stories of shadowing that you've done with a doctor or a surgeon, comment down below. Super interested to hear those. Now guys, the last thing that I will say about shadowing a doctor or a surgeon is when you go in and shadow, just make sure you ask questions. Make sure you ask appropriate questions. Try not to get too personal, but just ask questions about, you know, how hard their schooling was or any tips or advice. They love giving out tips and advice. And just kind of what their day in the life is as a surgeon, or what their day in the life is as a doctor or an ER doc or whoever you shadow. Just to kind of get more information on if this is something that you are interested in and something that you would want to pursue. Because you wouldn't want to get all the way down the road, all the way down the line, and finally make it, you have your MD or your DO, and turns out you hate it. And so just make sure that you do understand what you're getting yourself into and take that opportunity when you're shadowing these medical professionals to ask those questions and ask the right questions, just so you can be more informed on the medical field, as well as if there's any red flags or things that you're not okay with, you catch them on quick so that you don't waste all that time and get to the end and realize this is not for you, you really don't enjoy this. Alright guys, well that was my first experience ever shadowing a surgeon. If you enjoyed that video, feel free to drop a like down below. As well, if you have any interesting stories or things that have happened when you're shadowing a surgeon, or things you've even heard, comment down below. I really do want to hear those. And if you want to follow me through my pre-med journey, feel free to subscribe down below. But until next time, peace.